Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to episode 51 of the weekly patch notes. I'm your host for today, Kid Kojo. Joined with me as always is Maxwell. What's up?
Yo, at least this week I don't want to unalive myself.
That's good. Progress. Unfortunately, our other co-host, Tammy, cannot be with us this week, but he will be back next week. With all that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow X to skip for all information. Any and all supports is welcome. Now, let's get into some gaming tidbits, but before that, any admin?
The only admin from my side is to let people know I'm still working on the Child of Light video and the challenge run video. The challenge run video will probably come out quicker because it's an easier thing to do. The Child of Light, I'm currently playing the game and enjoying the game, and I have something in mind for when I finish that, so people should look forward to that when it eventually comes out, whenever that's going to be. Hopefully not too long.
Nice. And I personally have no admin, as always, for this week. So,
Sure.
let us jump right in to the gaming news. Maxwell, what's been happening in the gaming world?
Right, so either it's been a slow week or I've just been very ignorant of all the news taking place this week, but the only thing I want to talk about is the Xbox thing. But before I get into that, Kojo, do you have anything to say about the Xbox business meeting with Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty? Because you were the same guy who said, I have no comment, I'm going to wait to hear what Phil has to say. Now Phil has spoken, what do you have to say?
I feel like it works better if you tell the people what he said and then I'll give my 2 cents.
Fair enough. All right, so basically what the news went over was how it was split up into 3 segments. I don't remember what the third segment was. But the first segment was Phil Spencer explaining to people about the whole rumors that everyone had heard, where he was calming everyone down and saying, yes, we are releasing to the other platforms. Currently, we're going to be releasing 4 unannounced games. I'll get into that later. But Starfield is not one of them. Indiana Jones is not one of them. How they are tackling it is by a game-by-game basis, so on and so forth. But I'll get into all of that a little bit later. Then the next part was to talk about how the Blizzard Activision acquisition, how they are rolling it in, and how Diablo 4 is going to be coming to Game Pass and all of that. No shocker there, we already saw that coming from a mile away. Then there was a third part, I believe, and I don't remember what that. I believe it was talking about hardware, potential future that they are still going to stick to hardware and everything like that. And the next Xbox supposedly is going to be an even more impressive machine. Yes. Anything to add to that, Kojo? Because the minutiae of what the things were said, I want to go into that after I hear your take on everything.
Well, the most interesting part to me, when it came to the exclusives, I mean, we all knew that there wasn't going to be anything crazy that was coming to. Well, I figured it wasn't going to be anything crazy like the big names like Starfield or the games that are upcoming that haven't even come out yet. I knew it wasn't going to be anything big. I figured it would be old stuff that has been on the platform, Xbox and PC, for a while. That Xbox or that Microsoft feels that, you know what, we give these to other people. It's not going to really hurt us in the long run. If anything, it might benefit us if we release these games. But I should be said that Tammy's dream of finally hearing news about Game Pass and Activision Blizzard games coming to Game Pass has come to life, as Maxwell said. So unfortunately, Tammy isn't here to regale us with his happiness and his, enthusiasm, but
I'm pretty sure he's not that ecstatic, that he only cares about one game. We both know what that game is. And until that one game comes up, he's just going to be like, cool, all of that stuff is cool, but I want this.
No, but Tammy's a Diablo fan, so he's going to play Diablo 4.
Yeah, but then remember when he spoke about it, it was just like, nah, it's great, it's coming, but it's not what he wanted to hear.
Of course. But either way, he's still gonna Tammy is interested in yeah, sure, he's waiting for World of Warcraft, but he's going if when Call of Duty eventually comes to Game Pass, Tammy's gonna be all over that. Tammy loves Call of Duty. Tammy loves pretty much everything.
It's going to come.
Yeah, it is. So that's why I said if/when.
Yeah, I'm saying don't just remove the if and just say when it's coming.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's Tammy side. The thing that interested me was when Sarah Bond said that she spoke about the console generation. She said that the next console is going to be the largest technological leap. I don't know if she meant in the Xbox ecosystem or in consoles ecosystem in general. But she said we'll hear more holiday time, which is November, December. So that was what interested me the most out of this whole talk. Because when I heard that, I'm like, huh, okay, cool. They're not leaving the console space just yet. And they're doubling down by saying they have an upcoming system that is going to be incredibly powerful. So, okay, let's see what they have. So, those are pretty much my thoughts. The rest of it was just business speak.
Yeah, so what I just want to say is nothing surprising was said out of that announcement or podcast episode. For those who bothered to listen to us last week, it felt exactly like I was describing last week about how they are 100% going to be releasing on all other platforms. The only thing which slipped my mind to mention that I didn't think about was talking about one, letting older games emerge on other platforms first, because again, even Phil Spencer himself said the business aspect of it, and we touched upon the business sense of things last week, talking about what makes business sense and what doesn't. And I know when we spoke about what makes business sense and what doesn't, I mentioned that getting rid of hardware is one of the things they'll do, and they are doubling down saying, nah, they're going to stick to hardware. I personally don't believe that. So I was scuffling through comment sections on Twitter and on YouTube under the Xbox, and I have to say, in this rare instance, Twitter users are smarter than YouTube users. The YouTube users were all like, oh, I guess the influencers, the gaming influencers were making a whole big thing out of nothing. There's nothing to be worried about and all of this different stuff. Whereas the Twitter users were more like, here's Phil again, you manipulating his words, making sure that he's not exactly giving concrete information, but at the same time, he's not saying anything definitively. Where down the track, down the line, we'll see him doing some of the opposite of what he was saying right now. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with the Twitter people. We are going to be seeing these things realized in different ways down the line. It's just a question of when, not if. So, with all of that said, I just want to re-emphasize that the business meeting was not that big of a deal. For the people saying, oh, we can relax, Xbox is still there, la-di-da, la-di-da, nah, you're an idiot. You don't seem to understand what's going on. But people who've realized what's going on, kudos to you. Because, again, I go back to saying that it's the shills who are the most impacted by this, but the shills do see the bigger picture. It's not as drastic as they make it seem, but what they are seeing is the actual reality. I think them being shills are able to see what things are for what they are, whereas casual fans or casual players can't see the bigger pictures because they don't have any vested interest. That's my take on it. But yeah, that's it for the gaming section. Ranted. Oh, wait. I did want to mention of the 4 games coming up. So Phil Spencer said that they haven't announced it yet and they will announce it a little bit later. But the rumors have leaked out where the expected games are Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves. And all of those do make sense because they are one of two things. Either A, they are old games which have run their course and putting them on other platforms gives them new life. And B, they are multiplayer games. And Phil Spencer did mention of why he doesn't understand Sony doesn't release Helldivers on more platforms. And I actually agree with him there because I also see Xbox doing that down the line. Sony have gone to say that when it's going to be a multiplayer game, PC is going to have day one releases. But I think this is potentially going to extend to other platforms because business-wise, you want to maximize the reach of online multiplayer games. You don't want to limit the number of people playing those. Solo games, individual player games, those you can make them have exclusive. Those you can put timed what components to them. Wata. But the multiplayer games, the smarter move is just to make them allow them to reach as many players as possible. That's where I think Microsoft is probably going to do better than Sony in that regard, because Microsoft is already open to the idea. Sony is probably fighting it, not wanting to do it, but then if money is dire, they probably will start doing it. So with that said, maybe we should hope that Sony starts struggling in their gaming segment section and they open up their franchises to more platforms. We'll see. And yeah, Koya, do you have any new things to add?
So the studio behind Disco Elysium, ZA/UM, I think I don't even know how to pronounce their studio name, so I'm just going to say ZA/UM. They're behind the hit game, the 2019 hit game called Disco Elysium. This game, when it came out, it swept all the awards. It won so many awards, from South by Southwest Gaming to the Game Awards. It won every single game award category that it was nominated for. It is considered as one of the greatest games of all time. I haven't played it. Doesn't look like my cup of tea, but the premise is pretty cool, I guess. And yeah, so the studio they've been quiet for a while, but it turns out that they've been quiet because, there have been some turmoil. There's been some turmoil behind the scenes, and that they are laying off a bunch of people from the studio. About 24 employees who are at risk of losing their jobs. And one of them, who was the last writer on Disco Elysium, Algo Tulik, he spoke out and told his side of the story about what was going on. And he's been with the studio ever since it was founded. And he was a principal writer for the game. And let me go back a little bit. So due to these layoffs, or as part of the layoffs, a Disco Elysium standalone expansion called Project X7, or tentatively called Project X7, was cancelled. And Tulik was working on that expansion. And another lady called Dora Klinjik, who was a principal writer, also agreed to speak out. And she said the last 2 months of Project X7 were, filled with crunch, burnout, and conflict. And she kept on, talking about the working conditions and everything that was going on behind the scenes, and how the atmosphere was just turned sour and all that stuff. It's interesting stuff to read. We will leave some links in the description below. But yeah, that is it for my news. So that's it for the news section, right? Yep.
Have we passed a week without mentioning some type of layoff?
I don't think so. It's only going to get worse. And I like how Phil Spencer, he touched on it briefly in the talk about how they had to let people go, but then he was quickly like, yeah, but we weren't the only ones. So, hey, don't bring your pitchforks and torches at just us. So I found that hilarious. But anyway. But yeah, let's move on to the gaming corner and the releases of the week. So, let's start off with a game called Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden, released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC, released on February the 13th of 2023, and it is currently sitting at a 78 on Metacritic.
2023.
Sorry, 2024. Sorry, my mind is somewhere else today. Thank you for catching that.
This is why you don't say years.
Yeah, I'll take that into consideration. Next up, we have a puzzle game that really seemed interesting to me, and it's one that I'm interested in, called Islands of Insight, released on PC on February 13th, 2024, currently sitting at an 81 on Metacritic. We have a game called Listfanga: The Time Shift Warrior, released on PC on February 13th, 2024, currently sitting at a 75 on Metacritic. Next, we have Ultros, released on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC, released on February 13th, 2024, currently sitting at an 82 on Metacritic. Next up, we have Arzette: The Jewel of Faramore, released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, released on February 14th, 2024, currently sitting at a 77 on Metacritic. Next, we have Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered, released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, released on February 14th, 2024. And I've been watching gameplay of this, and it seems pretty cool. It's kind of like the Halo Master Chief Collection, where with the press of a button, you could switch between the old graphics and the new graphics. And yeah, they look pretty much, they've polished it. They've roughened up the sharp edges, if you know what I mean. And yeah, so Maxwell, what do you think this trilogy remaster is sitting at on Metacritic?
77.
Wow, that is damn close. It's sitting at a 78. Well done. Next up, we have a game that Max was looking forward to with bated breath. It is Mario vs. Donkey Kong.
Go kill yourself.
I couldn't resist. Mario vs. Donkey Kong released on Switch on February 16th, 2024. Currently sitting at... Max, what do you think?
Since it's a Mario game, and it's the first time they've had Donkey Kong in a while, I'm going to give it an 84.
84. Okay, it's currently sitting at a 77.
Oh, damn. Maybe Mario is not as strong of an IP as I think it is.
Maybe he is on his own, but if you bring other people into it, it's... When's the last time we had Mario vs. Donkey Kong? Is when Mario was Jumpman, right?
I would not know. I didn't even know that outside of those stupid ass games like tennis, cards, and whatnot, I didn't even think they share screen time. I thought they just have their solo adventure, and people are like, we need a new Donkey Kong game. When was the last time we had Donkey Kong?
Maybe one day he'll get his own standalone game based on the reception on this. We'll see. But finally, we have a big one that has been delayed multiple times over the course of its announcement since, announcement in 2017. It was supposed to release in 2018 and then they've delayed it. It's gone through. I watched a video from, I believe it was IGN. It was a very good 30-minute video which explained it. They even interviewed people from Ubisoft Singapore who were working on the game, and they sort of discussed the different changes it went through, the changes in vision, directors, that kind of stuff, staff, developers. It was a very interesting watch. If you want to go check out more about the behind the scenes stuff, it doesn't get juicy like, oh, this is exactly what, it doesn't get into the weeds of drama and stuff like that, but it gives you a sense of what was happening. So, Skull and Bones, that's the game I'm talking about. And it was released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Stadia for some reason, I thought it was dead, and PC, released on February 16th, 2024. And the reviews are still coming in. But as of now, what do you think its score currently is as of February 16th, 2024? What do you think its Metacritic? 76. Okay. It's sitting at a 55.
Holy crap.
Which is better than I thought. I thought it would be 50 or below.
I haven't heard anything negative about it. I've just heard it's a valiant effort, but
It is. Skillup just posted his review and he wasn't kind to it. Well, in the beginning he was scathing and, but then when he doesn't title I recommend or I do not recommend in his videos, when he just titles it the game review, that is going to be a spicy one. So that's what he did. He did Skull and Bones review. He usually says I recommend or I do not recommend in the title.
I thought when he says I recommend or I don't recommend, those are the spicy ones because he's not mincing his words. He's getting straight to the point of this is good, get it, or this ain't it, don't bother, and here's why. As opposed to not mentioning anything, it's like, depends what type of player you are. You might look at it and be like, nah, this ain't for me, or you might look at it and be like, alright, yeah, I'm down for this.
Honestly, it can be like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Skull and Bones, 55. I've been watching a lot of gameplay of it, and based on that gameplay, I figured it was going to be a 50 or below. Because I was like, and people are also going to compare it to the game that obviously inspired it, which was, no, the game that inspired it, which is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. So
Bro, they are never going to touch the heights of Black Flag.
yeah, I guess not. But yeah, that's it for the gaming corner and the release of the week.
What about Helldivers?
Yes, thank you for reminding me. I said I'll get back to
Still
you guys.
waiting on an update on that.
I said I'll even write. I wrote it in my notes. And I said I'll remind you guys. So, Helldivers 2, we finally got a Metacritic score, and I've been watching a lot of people play it, and it's not what I thought it was based on the trailers, but it looks like a lot of fun. Genuinely looks like a lot of fun, and a lot of people have been loving it. So, Maxwell, what do you think its Metacritic score is?
74.
Good guess. It's currently sitting at an 83.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's a very popular game.
With all the bugs and whatnot, people will be like, yeah, there's something in there. But we will only be able to fully enjoy it when those bugs are fixed. That was my expectation. Yeah, no. I'm going to stick to my solo one-player games where I don't bother with multiplayer stuff.
So, yes. That is it for Helldivers and the Gaming Corner and the releases of the week. Any Gaming Corner stuff you have, Maxwell?
Nada.
Okay. Well, that brings us to the middle section, midpoint of the podcast. We hope you're enjoying the show so far. Quick reminder to like, subscribe, and follow so we can get this show to more people. I am your host, Kid Koja, and with me is Maxwell. Let's keep the conversation going with content creator news. Anything from your side, Maxwell? Because I have nothing.
Nah, the only thing I saw was Moist Critical reviewing himself for the year or for some time, talking about how he's been seeing people's criticism, and he was addressing it and saying from time to time he likes addressing the criticism because you can't have your head up your ass and not be open to criticism. So he was tackling some of them, like people complaining about how they liked his content before he showed his face, where it seemed like he made more effort before he showed his face, and he was actually correcting people saying, nah, contrary to what it may seem, now where he shows his face, he actually puts in more effort. Back then, he was working on a checklist of things. Like, he'll tell himself, okay, when I make a video, I need to check off this, and this. It was more so, what do you call those things in a factory? Like a factory line, those things?
Assembly line.
Yes, and it was an assembly line, a conveyor belt. He would make those videos very quickly because he already knew what he needs to do, what he wants to do. And then when he does the voiceover and whatnot, he already has his checklist, and he was saying he wasn't really enjoying that type of video creation, and that's why he branched away from all of that.
I actually saw that video this morning. It was a good one. I actually appreciate it when content creators do this kind of stuff. Take stock of their...
have a level of self-awareness, which some content creators don't have, which is what I dislike.
Yeah, Charlie is a good one. He started this whole thing where he likes to give back to his community, and what he does is he'll do giveaways where he'll write a list. No, he'll have a Google spreadsheet or something like that where he'll give away cash for certain things. So people will ask him for certain things like, hey, I need money for this and I need cash for this. He'll say, oh, keep it under $1,000. Because he's like, look, I got very lucky with where I am, with my job and everything that I have now. So I like to give back wherever I can. And he will show clips. Like one time he showed like clips and highlights of those streams. And you won't believe what this one person asked for, Maxwell. This one guy was like, hey, Charlie, I think it was $120. He's like, I need $120 because I want to buy the new Jujutsu Kaisen game for me and my brother.
$125.
$120 because I think a copy is $60.
Oh, he wanted 2 copies.
Yes, for him and his brother. Yes.
I thought he wanted like a box set or some special edition thing, because I was like, I would not spend money on an anime game.
Yeah. And Charlie played the game and he said it was really bad. So Charlie was like,
oh yeah, no, I saw some people reviewing it, specifically like anime fans. Yeah. One guy who I saw give it a review, Jack the Bus, shout out to him if you all know him. He was like, nah, this game ain't it. It is as whack gets.
Yeah, I'm not a JJK person, but I did watch gameplay and I'm like, this doesn't look appealing to me at all. But Charlie did eventually give. Charlie was offended. He was like, he joked. He was like, low key offended. He's like, why would you do that? Why? But he's like, you know what? Fine. Here's the money. Go, go hard. But then other people will say things like, I need money for art supplies for school or whatever, and stuff like that. And he did acknowledge, he did recognize it. Was like, look, yes, I'm not an idiot. Some people might just be lying to get money.
Because I was gonna say, hey man, don't lie to me. Just say what you want. Oh, I need money to go buy myself some drugs. Alright, cool. Go knock yourself out. Just don't die.
Funny enough, he actually said that to the Jujutsu Kaisen guy. Thank you for reminding me. He actually said, dude, just go use the money on drugs instead. He actually did say that to the JJK guy. But anyway. But yeah, I don't have any content creator news. But I just thought I'd add that on to what Maxwell said. So, moving on to esports. I have just one thing, which is a big thing. So, the Call of Duty League has been a thing since 2020. But before that, it was the MLG, where it was just teams and organizations. Excuse me. But then Activision Blizzard bought the league, bought the MLG, I believe, and then franchised the league to the Call of Duty League, where you have to buy in to the league and you have to franchise. So it has to be like a city and the name of the team. So you have teams like the Los Angeles Thieves and that kind of stuff, Paris Legion, and that kind of stuff. Toronto Ultra, those kinds of team names. So everything, I mean, there have been rumblings. People have been unhappy.
Wait. I've got a quick question with regards to that. So what if two teams come from a similar city? Must they duke it out for who gets the right to represent the city, or multiple teams can come from the same city?
Multiple teams can come from the same city, because if I remember correctly, you have the LA Thieves and the LA Gorillas.
Okay. So it's just a thing of make sure your city name is in your thing so people know where you're from.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So, there have been rumblings and rumors, like people weren't happy with the league, murmurs and stuff like that. But now it's come not full circle, but it's reaching a boiling point, because Optic, that's an organization, a gaming organization, has been there for the longest time. They have their hands in a lot of games, but Call of Duty is one of the main ones. And the owner is a guy called Hex, or Hector Rodriguez, but affectionately known as Hex. And Scump, he's considered as was the face of professional Call of Duty. People still see him as he's retired. He retired like last year, but people still see him as iconic, because he watch parties, the matches, the league matches, and then he commentates, and his streams actually kind of sort of sometimes get more views than the actual official streams, which is because people like to see his opinion, because he's a former player and he has his former player friends around him and they commentate and everything. They can commentate on the game and everything. So these two, Hex and Scump being Seth Abner, they have filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard for what they call Activision Blizzard for having an unlawful monopoly on the Call of Duty League since its creation in 2020. You won't guess how much guess how much they're asking for in damages, Maxwell.
$100 million.
680.
Damn. Nah. What? Nah.
I saw that as well. I'm like, guys, I understand that the Call of Duty League, Activision Blizzard, has been shady with a lot of things. The CDL has been, up and down with a lot of things. And I understand you guys wanted to get your money and get your damages and everything right. But goddamn, 608?
Bruh, they would be setting up their families for life, for generations.
They would be. The thing is, they themselves are already good I think they're good for their own lifetime. But yeah, you're right.
But there's wealth, and then there's generational wealth. It's like the next level.
True. It's. I saw that, but it was just ridiculous. But yeah, so far it's the two of them who are heading up this lawsuit. There have been rumors that some other heads of the other teams have joined, and there's also rumors that, or not rumors, there have been reports that some other heads of other teams have joined them, and there have also been reports that they are doing this on their own as of the reporting of this story. And yeah, so it's just been a tumultuous tumultuous time. So it's going to be very contentious because Activision Blizzard's lawyers have fired back. They've come back with a statement, and this is what they said, and I quote: Mr. Rodriguez, aka Optic Hex, and Mr. Abner, aka Scump, demanded that Activision pay them tens of millions of dollars to avoid this meritless litigation, and when their demands were not met, they filed. We strongly defend against these claims, which have no basis in fact or in law. We are disappointed that these members of the esports community would bring this suit, which is disruptive to team owners, players, fans, and partners who have invested so much time and energy into the Call of Duty League's success, end quote. So we'll have to see where this goes. This has been I saw it and I was like, damn, this is going to be interesting to, I don't know if, because usually when you see, it's usually cases, it doesn't matter, but when I see a court case happening, be it a celebrity suing another celebrity because of this, whatever, or this or this, in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're going to settle, it's going to be, whatever. And 9 times out of 10, they do settle. This, I don't see a settling happen. I think Activision is going to bring out their lawyers and they're just going to steamroll over these two. That's
I don't know about that. Didn't Activision settle with that of a Crash Bandicoot person on TikTok or something?
Did they settle? Or did he drop it?
No, I think he might have dropped it.
We'll fill you guys in next time.
On the next episode of X to Skip.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is it for my esports news. We'll keep you guys updated with this story because it's interesting. It's intrigued me. And there have been many sites that have brought up the Overwatch League, which was also Activision Blizzard, and like, look at what they did to the Overwatch League. What's going to happen to because the Overwatch League was also franchised, and like, oh yes, I forgot to mention, to buy into the team, to buy into the league and get a team, to buy a spot. Guess how much it is?
$5 million.
27.5 million.
Well, damn.
So people are like, that is, and like Moist Critical, I watch his streams from time to time, and he has his own esports league. I mean, esports org, and they're in different, they're different sports, they're different games. Sorry. And people asked him, he was like, so are you gonna have this team in this game or this team? He's like, yeah, no, we'll see. But somebody asked him, are you gonna have a team in Call of Duty? He was like, no effing shot. No effing shot. It's ridiculous. The price to buy in is ridiculous. The treatment of them is not great and things like that. So it's like, there's no way.
Yeah,
there's a 0% chance.
People who have who run their individual esport teams, or individuals who run their esport teams can run. You have to be backed by a company.
Yeah. But yeah, that is it for the esports news. Maxwell, any esports thing that caught your eye?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
That's
all right. Yeah, I figured. All right. So moving on to the discussion. Maxwell, anything you want to discuss?
What's popped up of interest this week?
Skull and Bones.
There's been the Lara Croft redesign, but is that worth the discussion? 2 redesigns. Nah, I guess there isn't nothing worth discussing this week.
Okay, I also have nothing to discuss this week. All right, now moving on to the news. Yeah, I know, right? Moving on to the news blitz. Maxwell, blitz us up. That came out wrong, but yeah.
At least you didn't say delays. All right. So starting somber, the creator of Konami's RPG series Suikoden, Yoshitaka Murayama, died this week, with his camp only stating that it was due to complications from an ongoing illness. They have not revealed what the illness was, and at the time, we are uncertain if they will reveal the illness later down the dates, but we shall see. Next, for the Star Wars fans out there, a first-person Star Wars game is in production by Respawn Entertainment, the developers of Apex Legends and Titanfall. Then, Kojo, you like Post Malone, right?
To an extent.
Well, he is the one who curated the WWE 2K24 soundtrack, so if anyone enjoys the playlist, you have him to thank. Also, he's gonna be a DLC character for the game.
Nice.
Then Crystal Dynamics has released Lara Croft's redesign going forward, which has naturally gotten some people upset. Me personally, I'm indifferent to it. I don't understand why they had to redesign her. I had nothing against the previous design, but it's whatever. Then, to end off on a fun fact, on the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo, there's a section where you can play a piano, and gamers have been using that section as an opportunity to play covers to tracks foreign and familiar to the Final Fantasy series. So if you have to go onto YouTube and write down Final Fantasy VII Rebirth piano cover, you'll see all sorts of tracks being covered by players, and it's quite impressive. Impressive for them to be able to cover tracks, and impressive of Square Enix to have a piano which you can play, which is actually somewhat realistic. I can think of a certain Naughty Dog who had a guitar which you couldn't do fuck all with. But that's a whole other issue. And that's it for the News Blitz. Bojo?
Nice. Well, you do know that they added a guitar free play to the remaster, right?
No, I did not know, but why did they have to do it to the remaster? Why couldn't it be their original?
I don't know, go ask them.
Because they suck as developers.
And secondly, you mentioned the Star Wars thing. What were your exact words?
Respawn Entertainment have a first-person Star Wars game in production.
According to?
Does it matter?
Yes, it does. According to?
According to the internet.
There we go. Okay. Alright. That's what I wanted to know. That's all. That's all you needed to say. According to... So the sources, trust me, bro. Got it. That is it for my 2 cents. Any final closing thoughts?
Nobody wants your 2 cents. They'd rather have 50 cents.
Actually, I would kill for... Not kill. But I'd go for a new 50 Cent album.
Yeah, no, hell no.
Classic hating Maxwell. But, yeah. So, that is it for the show. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow for more. Otherwise, if you have any comments, suggestions, or you just want to say hi, you can do so in the comment section below. That's all for this week. We'll catch you again next week. Be good, stay healthy, and join us again for more gaming tidbits. I have been your host, Kid Koja. With me, as always, Ben Maxwell. Tommy will see you next week, and we will all see you next week. So, have a good one and stay safe. Peace.